Hello, my name is Leo, and welcome again to a new day of the Elder Scrolls Arena. Tomorrow, hopefully, if all things pan out well, we should arrive in Brynjolf's lair, and we'll be able to go and kill Brynjolf. But in the meantime, what's going on? Borderlands 2 Loot Hunt update. Now, they have updated the site. It looks like they're tallying up all the entries and stuff, because with the actual competition itself that was only available to North America, you could obviously enter and play the game. You could also enter the competition, the main competition, the grand prize, by making a postcard, I believe. I think that's what it was. So obviously they're all actually mailed in, so they've got to go through and actually look at them all. So that's probably going to take some time. But they have updated the site and they've given out some freebies. Today, special fantasy themed character skins are now available for players of Borderlands 2 add-on campaign Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. So if you go to the www.borderlands2loothunt.com, you'll be able to, I don't know if it's the main site. Yeah, it's the main site. Yeah. The main site says a stylish update. There's a picture of all the 6 characters, and they've each got a unique sort of outfit. I mean, the thing about skins is they are, as the name suggests, just like color. Like, that's really all they change. The only one there that's really interesting, like that looks really interesting, is Maya's one, because it kind of looks like a proper fantasy themed, those tops that women had in the fantasy era, where it's sort of like got a big V cut for the cleavage and little threads that tie it up together. I can't really explain it. I don't know what it's called, but anyway. So if you click on the picture, it actually gives you a larger picture that has a shift code that allows you to get that outfit instantly. You can also pick them up from the dice chests. So that's cool. Now, it also said, don't forget the accompanying head, and I was like, oh. And upon clicking that link, it takes you over to the Gearbox software website, where they've got the same thing, but heads. So these are actually, heads are quite unique and cool. And they've got some really cool looking heads for all the different characters. So I went through and I grabbed all those as well. And then I was thinking, where did I go from here? I went to news, because I was like, oh, maybe there's more stuff to get. Now, I've watched all of the, I'm subscribed to the Gearbox's YouTube channel, because every time they come out, well, generally, I mean, they haven't done it for a while, but when Borderlands 2 first came out, every time they'd release a new video, like the Claptrap mini-series, which is actually really funny, at the end of the video, they would have some shift codes for you that you could use to get golden keys, and I've only got about, 7 keys now, which isn't a lot, but it's actually funny, because in the game, it says, got over 100 keys, start using them. And I was like, geez, 100 keys, that's a lot. Which, the fact that they've put the message in the game means it's fairly legitimately easy to get 100 keys. And I know that you can like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter, and that allows you to get more keys, but I don't have Facebook or Twitter, so I don't do that. But those YouTube videos give out a couple, but I've noticed that on this news feed on the gearboxsoftware.com website, scroll down a little bit, and there's 2 things actually. The first thing, well, there's one that gives you like 5 more gold keys, so I grabbed that. But the other one thing that I found was, it looks like for Halloween they came out with some spooky character skins, and there's a shift code there that allows you to get. They're basically, it's just a yellow and black sort of color scheme, which is more or less identical for all characters. I grabbed that as well. So, and I went as far back as I cared to go, and I couldn't find any more shift keys, so I'm just giving up. So that's your Borderlands 2 loot hunt update. If you haven't already gotten those shift keys, go out and get those skins, heads, and extra gold keys, because they're cool. Alright, now, moving on. Now, most people would be aware that, you know, last week the PlayStation 4 came out in America. It comes out, I believe, on the 29th, although it's actually the 28th in America, in Australia. So the 29th Australian time is when it comes out in Australia. Interesting note is that it actually doesn't come out in Japan until February next year. And you might think that's weird. Isn't it a Japanese console? Why is it taking so long to come out in Japan? Well, the fact of the matter is, at the moment, all the games are really Western oriented. And they don't want to bring it out now because no one's interested. They've got no competition from Xbox because no one could care less about Xbox in Japan. So they're going to wait until next year when a whole bunch of Japanese games out. Like, for example, Metal Gear Solid 5, which I'm really hyped about. So, I talked about Metal Gear Solid 5, didn't I? Yeah, you talked about how, like, there's the different versions. And, you know what? Well, that leads me on to my topic today, is that I don't have any interest in the PlayStation 4. I definitely have no interest in the Xbox, because stuff Xbox. I mean, I've already talked about, like, in hindsight, I originally bought, I bought a PlayStation, my friend bought a Wii, Ivo, actually, specifically, he bought a Wii, and we played a lot of Wii tennis, back when it was actually fun to play Wii, and then, Ivo and I went halvesies on on an Xbox 360, before that, I actually bought a PlayStation 3 for like $1,000 or whatever ridiculous price it was back then. Played it for a week and then took it back. I bought it from EB Games and they had that like 1 week return policy. But that's obviously for software. And I took it back to the store that I bought it from and they're like, no, dude, it's for software only. And I'm like, ah, crap. So on the way home, there was another EB on the way and I'm like, you know what? I'll just try these guys. If they say no, well then, okay, I've got a next-gen console. If they say yes, well, great, I've got my money back. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, no, I'm going to buy one. I just don't want to buy one now, that's all. And they're like, oh, alright. I'm like, okay. Like, in my mind, I'm like, holy shit, really? Sick. And they refunded like the full cost of the PlayStation and the Metal Gear Solid 4, which is the whole reason why I bought it, so I could play the crap out of that game. And yeah, I got all my money back. So later on, bought an Xbox 360, played that for a while, and then I got a PlayStation 3 because my parents bought a Sony Bravia, and it came with a PlayStation 3. Actually, they wanted to buy a TV, and I convinced them to get a Sony Bravia so that I could get the PlayStation 3. And in hindsight, I should have just gone straight for a PlayStation 3. That said, the PlayStation 3 is so expensive back then. And, well, I think it still is compared to the Xbox. I mean, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbone, well, the PlayStation 4 is actually cheaper, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I have no interest. I actually watched a Twitch TV because with the PlayStation 4, you can record video, although it's only up to 15 minutes. So for most people on YouTube, that's not enough. Like my videos are usually under 15, but sometimes they go over. So it'd be a real pain in the butt if I had to keep cutting it into 15 minutes all the time. It'd be, right pain. It's basically like YouTube before you've verified your account. But the other thing was that I mean, yeah. So you can record videos. You can also live stream to Twitch TV or Ustream. And I was watching a Twitch TV and he was playing Assassin's Creed 4, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, I've only ever played Assassin's Creed 1 a little bit. I never actually finished it. Well, I've been meaning to play it. I just never gotten around to it. I've just had other stuff that, in my opinion, is better to play, like the Yakuza series or Skyrim, you know. But I mean, yeah, it's fun that you can that it's so easy to now stream straight onto the internet, and I'd like to do that because my whole parg, things like Ustream and that I have a Ustream account that I used to live stream my video gaming, but the Hapag doesn't do it. Like it doesn't. My computer doesn't pick up that it's a capture, like a video camera or whatever. So I can't just upload it straight, like that. I had to do some weird bullcrap, like how I explained when my first Skyrim videos on YouTube is before I bought the Hapag, is me putting the game into standard definition mode, the Xbox, sorry, into standard definition mode, using the HD component cables with the HD video plugs plugged into the TV, and there's a really roundabout way of doing it, and the standard definition video cable and the audio plugged into the computer, so that the computer would pick up the standard definition, and the TV, for some reason, even though it's set to standard definition, would still display a sub HD quality picture, so I could play the game on my TV while still playing it, while still recording, which is great. Until I decided that these look like shit, and I really want to do some HD videos, and that's when I had to start thinking about buying something, and I ended up with the Hapag, which leads me on to my next dilemma with the PlayStation, is that the PlayStation has HDMI out. Now my Hapag, I know the new Hapags do have HDMI in, but mine doesn't, and I don't want to buy another one. Mine has HD component in. So, now I can actually record PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 because the video out plugs are the same for both of them. So is the power, for that matter. But I've looked at some unboxings of the PS4, and it clearly doesn't have that plug, that port. So I can't just plug in the Hapag plugs that I currently use with a PlayStation 4. I would either have to buy a new Hapag or another capture device, or just use the in software recording with a maximum of 15 minutes, which is a bit sucky. And then I thought about it. I was thinking about this last night. The reason why I ended up buying the Xbox is because the Xbox had more exclusives that I wanted than the PlayStation. At the time, the only game I wanted for PlayStation was Metal Gear Solid 4. Like I said before, I bought it, played it for a week, didn't need to play it anymore. That said, the moment I got a PlayStation 3 again, I bought it straight away. But you know what I mean. So I know that Gran Turismo 5 was going to come out eventually. It's quite funny. I was actually really interested in Little Big Planet, but now that I've got it, I got it for free thanks to the PSN crash. Sorry, not crash, the PSN hack. I played it and I'm like, this is boring. I didn't like it at all. I thought it'd be right up my alley because it's all about, it's kind of like a weird version of Minecraft. It's like a 2D Minecraft, if you will. But, it wasn't that interesting. Now, at the time, I didn't even think about Yakuza, because at the time, I'd played Yakuza 1. I didn't know there was a Yakuza 2 on PS2, and I also didn't know there was a Yakuza 3 until I actually found it in store after I had my second PlayStation 3. And then I was like, oh, there's a Yakuza 3. Wait, where's Yakuza 2? And then I had to find Yakuza 2, play that, finish it, and then I could play Yakuza 3. And my PlayStation, more than 50% of my PlayStation 3 games are Yakuza games. I've got Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4, I've got Yakuza 5 now, even though I haven't really played it because I'm still hoping for an English release. I've got the Yakuza Kanzen game, and then this leads me on to my next thing. The new Yakuza game, which is Yakuza Yakuza Ishin, I think it's called. Restoration, the translated version is. Oh yeah, Dead Souls. Sorry, I forgot about Dead Souls. Not Dead Souls. Yeah, what am I thinking of? No, I think it is Dead Souls. No, Dead Souls is that other game, that really hard game that I hate. That's Demon Souls. No, Demon Souls was the original. Then it was Dead Souls. What was it called then? I don't know. The Japanese version was Of the End, and that's a cooler name in my opinion. Of the End. Anyway, yeah, so I got that. So how many Yakuza games is that? Well, currently you've got, okay, so 3, 4, Kenzen, Of the End, and let's say 5 as well. So I got 5 games. Probably only got about 9 PlayStation 3 games. What I got: Borderlands, Portal 2, Valkyria Chronicles, Gran Turismo 5, Metal Gear Solid 5. That's it. For discs, yeah. I've got other stuff that I bought on the PSN and I downloaded it. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is the restoration, the new Yakuza game. It's probably not going to come out. It's probably not going to come out in the West. I've sort of resolved my. That's why I bought the Japanese version of Yakuza 5, because I just gave up. And it was cheap. It was like I got it for like $25 or something. But I mean, I've sort of resolved myself that the new Yakuza's just aren't going to come out, which really sucks. But what can I do? I just hope that what was the guy's name? The Patrick. The Patrick has done a lot of really awesome Yakuza FAQs on game FAQs, and his walkthrough of Yakuza Kenzen basically allowed me to understand what the story was and what people were saying, and also figure out what the hell I have to do in moments where I have to follow the the written instructions. That being said, now I can't remember the YouTube channel's name. I think it's KHH Subs. He's done a cool series of like a whole playthrough of the game with English subtitles, which is really great. And I'm watching that at the moment, ever so slowly, whenever I've actually got time to watch YouTube videos. Actually, another point. I'm going on tangents here. There's another thing I'd like to point out. I don't know, I think it's just the PlayStation 3 version of YouTube. It might be the PlayStation 4 version as well. I'm watching videos on YouTube and all of a sudden the picture freezes. The audio's still going, but the picture freezes, and then suddenly the audio goes as well, and it just freezes. And you just can't watch anymore. You've got to quit out, start the video again, go back to where you stopped, and continue on. It doesn't freeze the system, the video just stops playing. And it's a right pain in the ass. And it started, coincidentally, perhaps, at the same time that the PlayStation 4 came out. And I'm thinking maybe it's got something to do with everyone playing PlayStation 4. I don't know. Leads me on to another topic that I'd like to talk about, which is me being scared about PlayStation 3 no longer being supported. I mean, I don't think this is going to happen because I believe it might happen because the PlayStation 3 PSN and the PlayStation 4 PSN are not the same thing. They are different things. And I've bought a bunch of games on PSN. I have more games that I've bought on PSN in terms of like the size of the games than I do hard drive space on my PS3. If the PlayStation 3 PSN were to go down, like if they were to shut it down because they're saying, yeah, we're going to go PS4 from now on, I would no longer be able to download those games. That would suck. Like, that would really, really suck if that were to happen. And then for them, because, but then again, when you think about it, they can't really do that at this juncture because, of course, the PlayStation 4 can't play PlayStation 3 games. I don't think someone might be able to give me some insight on this. I don't believe that the PlayStation 4 can play PlayStation 3 PSN games like Tokyo Jungle, for example. Though I don't know about that. But I don't think it can. I think it's just PS4 only. Um, so what might happen, like what happened with the PlayStation 2 and the PS3, is later on down the track you'll just be able to buy PS2 games on PSN as a digital download. So you'll be able to buy PS3 games as a digital download. But that'd suck because they're Blu-rays, so they're huge. So they'll take up so much space. Yeah, see, this is not a problem for me now, being in Japan with lightning fast internet with an unlimited, unlimited download limit. But in Australia, my internet plan is quite modest, and watching too much YouTube on PS3 ends up blowing out my limit. My internet slows down to nothing. Which really sucks. I actually do most of my, I did do most of my uploading at work. I'd take some videos, shove them on a USB stick, take them to work, and upload them on my computer, like during my lunch break or whatever, because it would upload like maybe 4 videos a night, like in a 24-hour period. So if I uploaded like a week's worth of videos, which is what I usually do, it would take like 3 days to do that. So I mean, yeah, I'm doing it like the ratio of uploads to releases of videos is okay, but you don't want to be, and while I'm uploading these videos, I can't use the internet at all because it's sucking up all my bandwidth. I've gone on a really weird tangent. I don't know where I was, so let's just back it up a little bit. Let's just reverse. So I was talking about the PS3 or PS3 games, maybe, or the PSN for PS3 maybe not being supported, and me losing all my games because of the stupid digital world that we live in. Then I went back and talked about YouTube freezing up for some silly reason. I wanted to talk about, I did mention that my Hopag is not HDMI in, so it means that I wouldn't be able to use a Hopag if I ever bought a PlayStation 4. Now I remember what I was talking about. Okay, so Yakuza Restoration and Metal Gear Solid 5 are really the only games that I'm super interested in as far as next gen goes. I mean, obviously that might change. I hear that the Gran Turismo 6 is coming out soon, although that's actually on the PS3 anyway. Now, that being said, Metal Gear Solid 5, both versions, Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, as well as Restoration, are all going to come out on the PS3, and they're actually going to also all come out as like disc copies, which is good for me because I've got no space on my PS3 right now. Well, pretty much no space. So I could just not buy a PS4 and just buy Metal Gear Solid 5 and Yakuza Restoration on the PS3, and then just bypass this gen altogether. I know that the PS3 version is not as good. I think it runs at 30 frames a second as opposed to 60, and obviously it's not going to be as good graphic wise, but you know what, I don't really care. Honestly, my TV is 720p, so I could care less if it's not 1080p because I can't watch it in 1080p anyway. And I know there's a difference between the two, but I couldn't really care less. When I bought my 720 TV, I bought it because it was so much more cheaper than the 1080. And at the time, most things weren't 1080p. Like, I didn't have a Blu-ray player. DVDs obviously don't run at 1080p. Digital TV was only running at 720, and then there was games. Well, my computer the resolution is set to 720 as well, and then there's games, which, I mean, there's a difference, sure. Do I give a shit? No. So I bought the cheaper TV. I ended up paying like $500 instead of like 1,200. So all in all, that's a pretty good friggin' deal. Um, and then that was originally it was 1,200 for the 720 TV. I think the 1080 one was maybe 1.5 grand or 1,700, something like that. So yeah, I might just buy the. I mean, obviously, Metal Gear Solid 5 doesn't come out until like March next year or some ridiculous crap. I'm really disappointed at the pricing. I've talked about this a couple of times. We get so screwed in Australia. Because, I mean, people have complained. I'm not complaining about the fact that the game is being split into two separate games. I'm not complaining about that. There are pros and cons to that concept. The biggest pro is the fact that if there are problems with Ground Zeroes, they can, make amendments and correct it before Phantom Pain actually comes out, and that's really good. But one thing that I'm really bummed out about is that it was going to be. Let's talk about PlayStation 3, which is actually cheaper than the PS4 version for obvious reasons, but it's cheaper. Um, let's talk about disc versions because that's what the comparison would be in Australia because I don't have details on how much it is digitally. Ground Zeroes was going to be $30 Australian and £30, I believe, and then Phantom Pain was going to be $50, I think, or maybe it was 60. I'm not sure which. Here are the prices for the Australian disc releases for the PlayStation 3 version of Metal Gear Solid 5. Ground Zeroes, $57. Okay? Now, the American dollar and the Australian dollar are pretty much matched right now, so that's almost double the price. Okay? For the same goddamn game. And then here's the really bad one. Phantom Pain is like $118. $118. So the total amount you would be paying is what? $170? Just under $170. $170 for both, like, for the whole package. That's unbelievable. I haven't even looked at how much an actual PlayStation 4 is in Australia. It's probably pretty expensive compared to the American release, but whatever. I don't care. But geez, that's expensive. I mean, goddamn, guys. Man, we get ripped off so hard. Well, you can always just buy the American version. Oh, yeah, you're right. You could just buy the. Yeah, but then I have to digitally download it. Yeah, I know. Well, I know, but then you'd have it, wouldn't you? I guess. I mean, we just did it. We just proved that we can finally download something from the the American PSN store. Yeah. You know what? I probably would do that because I'd be fucked if I'm paying that much money for the same goddamn game. It's just utterly ridiculous. How do these prices get so friggin' expensive? But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just not really interested at all in next gen. So I almost considered buying a Wii U because I've had some guys who have just been ranting and raving about Wonderful 101, and it's really made me want to play Platinum games. I mean, I'm getting Revengeance tomorrow, but I'm not playing it. I should finish Bayonetta. I started it. It was Avo's game. I never finished it. It's a fun game. Apparently the ending's really epic. Apparently the ending of Wonderful 101 is really epic. I would assume that the ending of Revengeance is pretty epic too. But yeah, apparently Platinum Games is, they're the good guys that you should be, buying games from. But yeah, I think I've ranted enough. It's almost half an hour that I've been talking. Jeez, man, shut up already. I know, right? But yeah, I mean, that's my take on next gen. No, just not interested. As long as games can come out on PlayStation 3, I'll continue to buy them for PlayStation 3. I mean, at first I thought it was kind of weird, but then I realized, well, PlayStation 2 did that for a long time. Then again, PlayStation 2 was like one of the most successful consoles of all time. It sold more units than anything, I think. I'm pulling it out my ass, but I think so. I know that the PlayStation 2 continued to sell pretty well, well into the current gen, life, the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 life. But yeah, that's just that. But yeah, I got nothing. So when we come back, we should hopefully be at Brynjolf's lair. We'll see what this Brynjolf guy is all about. See what kind of actual creature he is, whether or not he's a human or a monster. But for now, my name is Leo, and I'll see you next time.